Hi everybody, this is Dr. Rakesh Shah from Atlanta, Georgia, and today I'm going to talk about Abu Simbel in Egypt. If you know, it is Egypt is like this. It is way southwest in Egypt, and it is almost at the border of Sudan. It is only 35 kilometers from Sudan. So many of my friends asked me when I came back from a trip to Abu Simbel and the whole Egypt in November 2024. The common question was that is it worth going to Abu Simbel? And before I went there, I had a similar question too. So I'm going to cover everything about that. So where do you start and what it takes and how do you go there and how much it costs and what do you see when you reach there and what do you see when you are inside the Abu Simbel temple. So I'm going to cover everything. Stay tuned. At the end of the video you will have a clear idea about whether the Abu Simbel is worth going or not. So let's get started. So the first thing you need to know is that Abu Simbel, you can go from Aswan. Aswan is also in the south. So typically most people take the Nile cruise, and there is a stop in Aswan. So you reach Aswan in the daytime, stay there overnight, and then
starting from today, before we leave the boat, we have to get a boarding pass from the security person here. Keep it with you, do not lose it. When you come back, return it back to him to make sure all on board.
You have to start early in the morning, so not early, actually middle of the night. Around 2:30 you have to wake up and then you have to leave immediately, and you get on the bus. So basically we were in the Nile cruise and we got up at 2:30, and I think by 3 o'clock or so we were out. We had a light tea and coffee and a little bit of breakfast in the river cruise itself, and then we got on the bus.
Why we start early? Because the schedule of the cruise. Okay? So right now you're going to see all the buses who's going to Abu Simbel today. They stop in the line waiting for the police convoy driving to Abu Simbel. From Aswan to Abu Simbel, 285 kilometers, like 3.5 hours driving until we reach there. Okay, no stop on the way, no stop on the way. Once we reach Abu Simbel, the first thing we are going to visit the toilet.
So everybody gets on the bus, and you can hire a taxi also. But ultimately, they all come together at one spot, and from there, they all leave at the same time. So all the Abu Simbel trips, they start early in the morning, then they all go together. And one thing you will know is that there will be a police escort with all the buses and the taxis, because their law is before 5 o'clock, they have to have a police escort for the safety reason. We didn't see any problem going on in Egypt. We found it very safe. But I guess they have a law where they have to have a police escort, and every bus had a police inside. So just be aware of it. Don't get scared about this police part, okay? It's a part of their routine, okay? So we'll move on to the next thing about how much it costs and what to expect on the way. So as I said, the place is quite far from Aswan. So it's a 285 kilometers. So it takes around 3.5 hours to reach from Aswan. So if you leave by 3:30 or so, because you leave from the cruise at 2:30, but then you get to all get together at the one place, and from there they start. So by the time you leave Aswan, it's around 3:30 in the morning, and by the time you reach Abu Simbel, it will be around 7 o'clock in the morning. So basically you are driving through the night. You can find the trips on the Expedia or Viator or any other websites for around $50 for the private tour, like in the taxi. And if you want to go by bus, it costs around $25. So it's not that expensive, pretty reasonable priced. And then the ticket to enter the Abu Simbel is $5 per person for foreigners, and it's only 10 Egyptian pound for local people. But for us, it was $5. But many times everything is included. So you just talk to the whatever tour you're taking and see if the ticket is included or not. But even if it is not included, it's not that big a deal. Okay, so that was about what it takes. And then next is going to be what to expect on the road. So now the travel from Aswan to Abu Dhabi, basically there is nothing in between. You will hardly see few houses here and there, but practically nothing. So it's all desert, and there won't be any cell phone signal. Okay, we had purchased that Ola Fly eSIM, but it didn't work on the way. So we just wanted to make sure that there won't be any connectivity. And that's one of the reasons that they have police escort, because there is no communication that anybody can have. So that's all you can expect on the way. And the traffic wise, there was not much traffic because you are leaving 3:30 in the morning, so there's not much going on the road anyway, and plus it's way south, so most people don't go there. And there is I think there is an airport in Abu Simbel, the small airport, so people can actually fly also. So that's one other way. You know, some people want to just go from Cairo to Abu Simbel directly, they can do that too. Okay, so next we will talk about what to expect when you reach there. So basically Abu Simbel is a place where they have carved out temple of Ramses II and his wife King Nefertari in the mountain. So when you reach there, you're actually on the back side of the mountain. So here is the Lake Nasser, then there is a Abu Simbel temple, and your bus will be behind it. So when you come there, you don't see anything because, wow, there's nothing here. Yeah, there's nothing there, but you come in the back side of the mountain, there's a visitor center. So from the bus stop, you will walk around, you know, maybe quarter of a kilometer or maybe half a kilometer at the most to the visitor center. And as I said, the ticket is $5 US dollar, around $5 US dollar per person. And if you're Egyptian, it's I think around 10 Egyptian pound, which is around, I guess, 50 cents or something. So you come there and you will see security everywhere. You know, everywhere you go in Egypt, you have to go through the security checkup. So obviously they're going to check your bags and everything, and then you enter the complex. And from there you have to walk another half a kilometer or three-quarter of a kilometer, and you kind of go behind the mountain and then come this way. So you will come between the Lake Nasser and the temple. So there is a flat land between that. Lake Nasser is not a lake. It's basically created because of the High Aswan Dam. It's right there. So there is a place where you can see both the temples right in front of you, and then you can go in the temple of King Ramses on the left and Queen Nefertari on the right. So the interesting story about these two temples is that this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The interesting story is that they were actually not at that place. They are original, but they are not in the original place. They were way this way, close to the Lake Nasser, but because of the dam, the water started rising up. So what UNESCO did is an engineering marvel. They basically cut the whole thing into the pieces, like, you know, jigsaw puzzle, and move the whole mountain and the whole temple 65 meters higher from that land. You will see in the video and the pictures that I'm going to share here. So that is an amazing thing to see, that the UNESCO basically moved it there. And now I'll take you inside the temples and show you what exactly is there. So on the left side, when you're standing in front of the mountain, on the left side the temple is the temple of King Ramses, and right in outside you can see there are 4 statues of King Ramses II, and they're all 20 meters high, so around 65 feet or so, and they're all the same guy sitting down and with his hand on the knees, and basically showing the power, because the whole purpose was to scare away people coming on the Nile from the Sudan side. It's like a display of the power and divinity, two things, So that's the whole purpose of those statues, and those all 4 statues are like that. And near their feet there are some small statues which are their family members. So between 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and then you go through the hallway into the temple. And when you go through the temple, you will see big pillars, and on that you will see statues of Ramses. And then interesting thing about this temple is that when you go in the sanctuary, you will see 4 different statues. The sunlight twice a year goes straight on that, so that is called sun alignment days. And on that day, if you go, the ticket is going to be $25. It's going to be crazy busy those days. I think it's October 22nd and February 22nd. So those 2 days are called sun alignment days. And inside the temple you will see the hieroglyphics as well as the pictures and depiction of war and divinity and war scenes and offering to the gods and things like that. So there are multiple rooms kind of branching off the main hallway, and you can spend as much as time you want, but it's a great, and inside near the hallway there are big statues of Ramses II standing like that. So it's a great place to see. And then you can come out and go to the temple of Queen Nefertari, which is next door. So when you're coming out of the temple, Ramses II's temple, you can pay attention to that. There are 4 square pillars in the second hall. And again, the same thing, more religious and war scenes on those pillars. And then main hall, you will see total 8 pillars with the Ramses II's statues. So 8 statues inside, 4 outside. And in the outside statues, out of 4, the top part on the second one on the left side, when you see facing the mountain, then it's on the left, but if you're coming out, then it's on the right side. The second statue, the top part has fallen off because of the earthquake, and the fallen part is actually sitting right there at the feet of the Ramses. So when you come out of the temple, when you go left, you can see Queen Nefertari temple, and right in front of you, you can see Lake Nasser. So when you walk towards, it is next door kind of a thing. So when you walk left, Queen Nefertari temple, when you reach there, you can see a big mountain, and same thing, but there are actually 6 statues instead of 4 in the King Ramses temple. Queen Nefertari has 6 statues, but not all of them are her. There are 2 of Nefertari and 4 of Ramses again. So 2 Ramses, there's a 1 Nefertari in between on one side, and then 2 Ramses and another Nefertari in between. So that total 6 statues right there. And then that temple is a smaller one, and the same thing, there's war scenes and religious and divinity scenes. So nothing different. And in the main hall, there are 6 pillars. When you go in the Nefertari temple, headed columns there. And hall, you can see the picture that shows Nefertari being crowned by Isis, not Isis, I-S-I-S, the goddess, and Hathor, H-A-T-H-O-R, those 2 goddesses crowning Nefertari. So you can see those pictures, and then you can see Queen making offerings to the goddess. So this is the only place in Egypt where you can see size of the statues outside the temple of Ramses and Nefertari. They're same size. They're all same size, 10 meters. So the one on the Ramses II was 20 meters, their own Ramses' own statues. But here, Ramses and Nefertari, they're 10 meters high. So there is a very unique thing that you can, it's a symbolic that equality. There are a lot of colorful scenes in that, and hieroglyphics, inscriptions, and religious scenes and royal ceremonies on the walls. Both the temples, the similar thing. So it's a cool temple to watch, and then it takes maybe 20-30 minutes at the most, and you may finish in 5 minutes also if you want to. So the total time between 2 temples should not take more than an hour for you. Then you come out, and then you can go close to Lake Nasser. It's a nice area. It's not that great, but at least something to take some great pictures with the 2 mountains with the temples carved out, and then Lake Nasser. So you can take pictures there, just hang out a little bit there, and then you can go back to your bus stop. And then once you're in the bus, obviously you're going to get on the bus. So I think you will probably leave around 9:30, 10 o'clock, because when you come out, the path that you will go through is going to be full of vendors. So one thing you may notice that if you're in Egypt, that the vendors are very persistent, passionate, and sometimes pushy. So you have to really master the art of saying lala, no, lala, okay? Otherwise they will be after you to sell something, and I don't blame them, because that's their livelihood. But you will go through the whole area. There's a lot of shops that you can buy souvenirs. I mean, they're nice souvenirs. They're not expensive, so you're not going to spend your fortune doing that. So if you want to help local people out, you may want to buy some souvenir there, and then you can come out, and there is a place to eat some food also if you're hungry. And obviously we'll reach your bus, and then bus will take off around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And it's 3.5 hours drive back. And when you go back, you will see like a fork road, and you will see the truck standing on the opposite side of the fork going to Sudan. So that is interesting thing, because those trucks, they stand in the line for a week or 2 at a time, because those are the goods truck, and they go via ferry to Sudan, and they can only take 4 trucks at a time. So it takes a lot of patience for those truck drivers to just hang out there for a week or so, just standing in the line. So you can see in the video those lines. And then on the way back, you will go through Abu Simbel village. You might, if you are the Saturday, you might get lucky to see some local market from the bus, where they sell everything from the livestock to the vegetables to the clothes, everything is right there. You can see from the bus. And then I think by 2:30, 3 o'clock, you should be back to Aswan, latest by that. And then you can spend rest of the time looking around different places in Aswan. So I hope you like this video and helped you make a decision about whether it's worth going to Abu Simbel or not. I think it is, looking, based on the time. It takes total 10 hours because 3.5 hours to go, 3.5 hours to come back, and then another 2-3 hours at the most there. So around 10 hours it might take, but it's worth 10 hours. It doesn't take that much money, only 25 to 30, maybe $50 at the most if you buy souvenirs and things like that per person. So financially it is not that bad. Time wise, 10 hours, but it is worth it because you probably won't see anything like this anywhere else in the world, and obviously this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So I think you should go to Abu Simbel if the time permits, and you will be glad you did it. And if you like this, then just subscribe to the channel so that you can get more videos like this. And I'm signing off. This is Dr. Rakesh Shah and my wife Kashmira. We were in Egypt in November, and we'll share more videos about not only Egypt but other trips, because so far we have been to 65 countries and 7 territories and 7 continents, and this is end of January 2025. So long way to go, but we will make it. Thank you.